I'd always had this sense that I could love any kid. I had always been interested in foster care and adoption. We interviewed several different foster agencies, and Amara really drew me to them because they were focused on the whole picture of the birth parent, of the child, of foster parents, of all the support. Our very first placement was Shelby.
She was 5 weeks old when we picked her up.
Our goal was to grow our family through foster care, and we were looking for placements that we thought would lead more to adoption.
When we were called about Marcel and Marcos, we really were excited to essentially adopt.
Marcel and Marcos's mom was incarcerated, and so there was no visits happening. We were able to set up visits with Marcel and Marcos's grandpa, and we were able to build a pretty good relationship with him that summer. He was in support of us having the kids, and he was really pushing for us to want to adopt the children.
At the time that I got pregnant, I knew I had absolutely no business raising children. Marcel was born clean, sober, healthy, and I was able to take him home. Unfortunately, after Marcel was born, I slipped back into addiction. And Marcos was born drug exposed. And that was the moment that I knew I needed real help, real serious help. I was in jail, and I called my father because I was afraid where my kids were. I was just afraid. He pretty much told me that the kids had gone into care that day and that they were gone. I was just devastated. I went back to my cell and I went in circles for about an hour until I got a piece of paper and I wrote down with like the fire of, God himself. I wrote down all the things I needed to do when I got out of jail to get my kids back. When I got the chance to meet Josh and Sarah finally, one of the very first things she said was, I'm Sarah, nice to meet you. And, if it's optional, I would love to adopt the kids. That's on the table for us and we would love to take them. And I just remember my whole world crumbling down like, this lady is gonna take my kids.
I was really trying to get Sammy to see our side, and she was very closed off to us. I didn't understand why she was closed off. We would argue about holidays, for example, Christmas. We wanted the boys with us because we felt like they were part of our family. But she was fighting to have visitation on Christmas, and so there was a lot of conflict there. Okay, will you play with Levi? We were really pushing to have a family planning meeting so we really could determine where we were going. So we set up this meeting at Amara and we were talking about what is the plan for the future.
That is a meeting where my dad came, my aunt came. Pretty much everybody who had a stake in this case was at the table.
It was her family that was saying things like, look at Sarah and Josh. They have a beautiful home, they have a beautiful family. Why would you not want the boys to be raised in their house?
I didn't know even where to begin. I was just defeated in this meeting. I was just so defeated.
And in that moment, it was like I was able to step out from me being the foster mom of Marcel and Marcos and like seeing Sammy for who she was.
I was really going down, and Sarah, she put her fist on the table and she said, nobody's saying you can't do this, Sam. Nobody is saying that. What we're saying is you need the supports to be able to do this successfully. It was the moment that I knew she was an ally, like she was safe. Like I looked at her with different eyes after this meeting. And I know truly she loves them as her own. And I saw that from the beginning, and I think that's why I saw it as such a threat. But I think there's a flip that switched in her, and she quickly realized that she wasn't, the best place for the boys, that I was.
Oh, look who's at the front. Here, you guys, get up on my side. Get up.
Shelby!
Marcel and Marcos and Shelby, they really grew up together, and they really, in their heart, are still siblings. And you just can't take that away from them.
Come here. Oh my goodness. Hey, Sammy. Oh my God. I know. Oh my gosh, your glasses are so cute.
We love having them over. The kids always play really well. Shelby gets all worked up and excited.
Amara was really instrumental in helping Sammy and us figure out a way to make the transition from our house to her house. After the boys reunified, it was true co-parenting. The boys would spend the night at our house to give Sammy a break over the weekend. Sammy would take Shelby for the day so that we could have a break. We would go to the boys' grandpa's house for their birthdays. Sammy's family did really see how she was changing and really taking care of the boys in the way that Marcel and Marcos needed. And so her family became much more supportive of her over time.
Hi! Hi!
Being a foster parent isn't easy. As we've talked to other prospective foster parents, I don't think there's anything wrong with wanting to adopt, and it can certainly be a beautiful thing, but there's certainly a lot of power and beauty in reunifying, or after a certain amount of time, having these kids go back to live with their birth parents and being part of that story too.
If I am to love my children who in foster care or who are adopted, that means that I must advocate for them having a relationship with their first parents.
Sarah and Josh really opened the door for a relationship to build. And it was my choice as the birth parent to walk through that door. I knew I could do this, but I needed the support and even somebody just to tell me that I could do it. And Sarah and Josh, they were the support for me.
Okay.